Good day, students. So we are now here again on week 14 and the lessons from chapter 4, lesson 6 about water pollution and solution. For your reference, you must have your interactive science textbook and you can find the lesson on page 134 to 136. I'm Mr. Jasper Feliciano and this lesson is for grade 8 life science students. What are the objectives of the lesson? First, describe the fresh water. Second, to discuss why fresh water is a limited resource. Third, enumerate the major sources of water pollution and to identify how can water pollution be reduced. Why is fresh water a limited resource? Most of Earth's surface is covered by some of water. Oceans cover nearly three-fourths of the Earth's surface. Around the poles are vast sheets of ice. From space, you cannot even see many parts of the Earth because they are hidden behind clouds of tiny water droplets. There seems to be much water. It's hard to believe that it is a scarce resource in much of the world. And how can water be scarce where there is much of on Earth's surface? Water is scarce on Earth because most of it, it's about 97%, which is considered as a salt water. Salt water cannot be used for drinking or watering crops. Also, about a quarters of the fresh water of the earth is ice. Fresh water is mostly found in rivers, lakes, and earth's surface and aquifers. Fresh water is such a limited resource because it is such a little amount of fresh water on earth. People use groundwater for drinking, but it is not always found near where people live. Cities in dry areas withdraw their drinking water from hundreds of kilometers away, renewing the supply. Fortunately, Earth's fresh water is renewable. Remember that water continually moves between the atmosphere and the Earth's surface in the water cycle. Even though fresh water is renewable, there is not always enough of it in a given place at a given time. Water shortages. Water shortages occurs when people use water faster than the cycle can replace it. It is likely to happen during a drought when an area gets less rain. Many places never receive enough rain to meet their needs and use other methods to get water. Desert cities in Saudi Arabia get more than half of their fresh water by removing salt from ocean water, which is very expensive. What are the major sources of water pollution? Since fresh water is scarce, water pollution can be devastating. Some pollutants, such as iron and copper, make water unpleasant to drink or wash in. Other pollutants, such as mercury or benzene, can cause sickness or even death. Most water pollution is the result of human activities. Waste produced by agriculture, households, industries, minings, and other human activities can end up in water. Water pollutants can be point or non-point pollution sources, classified by how they are entered the water. Let's take about let's talk about the agricultural waste. Agricultural waste are pertaining to the rice, which is the stalks, the straw, the husk, the hull, and the sella. The same thing with the sunflower. For the animal, which is the poultry litter, the corn, the mustard, the sugar cane, and the wheat. Animal waste, fertilizers, and pesticides are also sources of pollution, by which they are using pesticides. And the pesticides are chemicals that kill crop destroying organisms. Rain washes animal waste, fertilizers, and pesticides into ponds, causing algae to grow. The algae block light and deplete the oxygen in the pond. The second is the household waste. The household wastes are associated with the garden, biological, the paper, the plastic, the glass, the residual, the e-waste, the hazardous waste, the textile, and the metal. The water and the human waste that are waste down sink, showers, and toilet are called the sewage. If sewage is not treated to kill disease-causing organism, the organism quickly multiply. People can become ill if they drink or swim in water containing the organisms. Industrial waste. Some plants, mills, factories, and mines produce waste that can pollute water. Chemical and metal waste can harm organisms that live in bodies of water. Animals that drink can polluted bodies of water or eat the organisms that live in the water can also become ill. And most of the industrial, they produce a sediment and water that causes erosion, pick up sediments or a particles of rocks or sands. So the sediments can cover up the food sources, the nests and the eggs of the organisms in the bodies of water. And the industrial also contribute heat. Heat can also a negative effect on the bodies of water. Some factories and power plants release water and have been used cool machinery. This heated water can kill organisms living in the body of water in which it is released. And they also produce oil and gasoline. An oil spill is a very dramatic form of the water pollution. It can take many years of an area to recover from an oil spill because the oil floats on water and it is difficult to collect. Another water pollution problem is caused by oil and gasoline that leak out to damage underground storage tanks. The pollution can be carried far away from the leaking tank by groundwater. And the same with the effect of the mining waste. As mining and industrial waste have the same effects. How can water pollution be reduced? We have a three-way: cleaning up oil and gasoline spills, sewage treatment, and reducing pollutants. Cleaning up oil and gasoline spills. Nature can handle oil in small amounts. A natural cleaning process is slow, takes place after oil spill. Certain bacteria living in the ocean feed on the oil. Of course, oil can cause much damage to an area and the time to take the bacteria to work. So people often help clean up the large spills. The hard work of many scientists and volunteers can minimize environmental damages from large spills. The sewage treatment. Most communities treat water waste before turning it into the environment. Treatment plants handle the waste in several steps. During the primary treatment, wastewater is filtered to remove solid water. Then it is held in the tank where heavy particles settle down. During secondary treatment, bacteria break down the waste. Sometimes the water is then treated in the chlorine to kill disease-causing organisms. And the last is reducing pollutants. Instead of releasing waste into the environment, industries can recycle their waste. Once such programs are underway, companies often find they save money as well as they reduce pollution. Other companies change their processes to reduce less waste or less harmful waste by using fruit acid as cleaning agent instead of toxic chemicals. How can we stop all types of pollution? Generally, we have to consider the three R: the recycling, the reduce, and reuse. Recycling reduces the amount of trash, landfill, and air pollution. Better water treatment. If water treatment gets better, it will limit waste put into our rivers and lakes. The public transportation, the carpool. If more people ride in one car or ride buses, air pollution will decrease and air quality will increase eventually. And protect and preserve the drinkable water or the potable water. Protecting clean water is important because it is so little, which is less than 1%. Solution to pollution. Zero waste hierarchy. The first one is the landfill, the recovery of the energy, which is waste management, recycle and compost, by which it is particularly happening on the environment. We have to use material more than once, and minimize the amount of waste being produced. And always remember, class, that be a part of the solution, not a part of the pollution in the environment. So that's all for this week. So don't forget to answer Schoology evaluation and Pearson assessment online. So thank you and God bless you all.